Heidi Dean! How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm so excited to see you.
I'm so excited. We didn't get to see each other this time in person this year, So we, even though you live in New York or, upstate New York and I live in California, we still managed to see each other at festivals or at, what do you call it? The on-stage circuits when we're around. I miss you.
I know. Well, hopefully it'll happen again soon and I can see your face be on the computer screen.
Beyond the computer screen. I love that. I love that. All right. So listen here. I like to start these. This is just a season two thing. Just a season two thing. We'll see what's going on. I like to start with a hard hitting question where you have to give me a definitive answer. You ready for it?
Sure.
Okay, right here and now on the Think Bigger Actors podcast, I need you to tell me which platform is your favorite, Instagram or Twitter?
That's easy. And actually, I knew you were going to ask me this question, but I didn't know what networks it was going to be. I listened to your podcast.
You do.
Twitter. I've always said this, Twitter is my favorite platform. It always surprises people because I'm so active on Instagram. Twitter was my first platform that I put together for my business. And it's actually where I create all my content. So I repurpose a lot of my content. I call it repurposing with purpose. And I'll take one idea and I'll use it 40 different ways across social media. I never just create single use content. And almost always that content is created on Twitter. I'm better at writing an idea down first and then tweaking it for Instagram on the various ways I can use it on Instagram or turning it into a live or a YouTube video. So Twitter, hands down over Instagram.
I have to tell you, everyone listening to this, I did not expect that answer. I did not expect that answer.
I said it I did a Q&A over stories a couple weeks back, and somebody wanted me to rank my top 5 favorite platforms for me, not for actors. And everyone was like, Twitter, what? Why Twitter? Now, if you follow me over on Twitter, you know I love Twitter. But yeah, it's always been my favorite.
I have to tell you that I actually love Twitter too, by the by. It is something as just as a human being in the world, is easier for me. I can just say what I want to say. I feel like Instagram, sometimes I have to have a cool, visual to go with it. Or, there's just things that I don't have to do with Twitter. And I love it for, like, as an actor, the fan base. I can really, people follow me and I can talk to them and I can engage better than on Instagram. Are you seeing that with the people you work with?
Definitely with live tweeting and being able to, share community-based fan content. We can't really do that as well on Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Twitter can be a fantastic tool for an actor.
All right. Well, listen, I don't know about your live, but you heard it here first, everyone. The definitive answer is Twitter. And you're in all the spaces too. I mean, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, Twitter, I mean, all of the Facebooks and everything. The Facebooks. I sound so old, you all.
I'm less on the Facebook. So if I had to rank my platform, it wouldn't even be on the top 5. But I am everywhere. This year I had a big milestone that I have over 100,000 followers, subscribers across social media. And I'm pretty, it's pretty even across all my socials. So It's exciting. I get to help a lot of people in the platforms that they like to play on.
Yeah. Wow. Congratulations on that. I know how hard you've worked and tirelessly and, diversified your, let's call it, platform portfolio. I just know that you've worked really, really, really hard. I remember not so long ago, I don't know if it's still available, so don't quote me on this. Everybody go looking for her. But I know you did this 30 things to post freebie, and it was like wild cakes. People could not get enough of that, and I was like, I need to do something like Heidi. Do you remember doing that at all?
I do, yeah. And you can actually get it on my Instagram or just go on YouTube and look at what to post for social media for actors. And my video will come up that has those 30 days. So not only can you download the ideas, but you can see some examples. And then you don't have to worry about like 30 days of content. You're welcome.
And if you listen to her, like what she just said, I would have to say that those 30 days, if we repurposed it, we could turn it into maybe 60 or 90 days of content.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, listen, anybody that knows you knows that you, I think, are like a social media like rock star. See what I did there? Yeah, right. Social media rock star, but Maven, I really think that you are doing great things and have been, and you still do, and nobody really touches you in this industry. But I guess I just want to know, I want to, as a friend, I want to go back to, why do you do this with actors? Why, what's the draw? Like, and you're still in it like a decade later almost, you know?
Well, I love what I do as a social media strategist, and I love actors, so it's kind of a perfect marriage. I mean, I get to work with the most creative, inspiring people in the world every single day, and that just fuels me, you know. If people don't know my background, I am a former actress. I was in the business for 20 years. I grew up in California, moved to New York, and went to NYU for acting, and started young. I mean, I was in SAG by the time I was 13. And yes, it was SAG back then, not SAG-AFTRA. I keep having people correct me. I was like, well, it was SAG back then. There was no merger by then. No. So yeah, I'm a former actress. I was you, right? And I'm married to a Broadway and television actor, a working actor who works a lot. So, you know, I get to work with these creative people that I understand what they do, why they do it, and how hard they work. And for a lot of them, I know social media doesn't come easy. And it didn't come easy for me at first either. And it did not come easy for my husband either. He really, really fought it. So for me to be able to help them with something that can really positively impact their career so much, and it being something they don't like, it's a really great thing to be able to do every single day.
Yeah. You know, I just got a question, a little bit of a tangent here, that, you know, this is a podcast that's all about mindset, and you've worked with the spectrum of actors like Phil. Shout out to Phil. What's up, Broadway? That's her husband, everybody. But, you know, actors that have worked a lot and actors that are just starting out. And I'm just wondering, this question is coming to me about, what do you think the difference of mindsets are there when you're just starting out to someone like Phil? Is it just have more confidence? What do you think's the difference there?
It's a confidence thing, but actually what I group actors a little bit differently with how they approach social media, because it doesn't necessarily tie into like how successful someone is on social media. It doesn't always match up with where they are in their career. A lot of it, the mindset is here with, you know, their approach to it. So I really see two types of actors on social media, and it's like they're both looking at the same pathway of stones, social media being those stones, but they approach this pathway totally different. Actor number one sees this path of stones as stumbling blocks, something they have to do. You know, why do I have to be on social media? I just want to act. And I get that from people just starting and people that are, you know, celebrities, right? So that doesn't always, you know, equal. You know, it's different. That's actor number one. You know, they see this path of stones as stumbling blocks. Actor number two sees the same exact pathway of stones as stepping stones. As stepping stones for opportunity to build their brand, opportunity to grow an audience for their career or for their content, and opportunity to network and meet people that they would never be able to meet, you know, in person. So, you know, it's a mindset thing. You've got to be able to shift your mindset, because you're never going to be, if you're actor number one who sees this pathway as stumbling blocks, social media being stumbling blocks, you're never going to get good at something you don't like or don't want to do. Right? So you've got to have a little mindset switch there. You've got to start seeing social media as opportunity instead of that extra thing you need to do. And that's the biggest thing I see with different groups of actors. And it's, like I said, it's there's people that are brand new that see it as a stumbling block or a stepping stone, and celebrities as well. So, but you're the mindset guy. You get this.
I do, and I know I don't really understand fully why actors are so resistant to social media. and we can unpack that in a second. But what I was thinking was pre-pandemic, you've been supporting these actors for so long on getting into social media. Social media is where it's at with casting directors or directors, writers, producers. They're all on there. And, one of the things that I saw more than I'm sure you saw it, because this is your corner of the world, is that the only way to stay connected during the pandemic was social media. So now everybody who was resistant to it had to play catch up, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was probably the busiest person in the business in 2020. I mean, speaking for SAG-AFTRA Foundation, for equity, for universities, because that is what happened. Everything shut down, and people were like, "Oh wow, I guess we have to use social media. Let's call Heidi so she can teach us how to do it." Right. Yeah. But ironically, social media has always been the best tool for networking for actors and meeting people. That did not change. The pandemic just really put a spotlight on what was already there that actors were either avoiding or didn't realize were an opportunity. Because it's not always that they're avoiding it. Some of them just don't. They look at it as a tool for playtime, not something that they can use with a purpose.
Okay. So, sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, but we just saw a huge shift too. I mean, once the business went virtual, the reasons for being on social media became more important. I mean, think about it. How much more likely is it that I'm going to do a Google search on you? If submissions are online, if auditions are online, if everything's virtual. Now I'm just a click away to find out a little bit more about you. And what's like the first thing to come up in a Google search for your name? Your social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're even seeing a lot of people in the industry, producers, casting, directors, writers, a lot of them that were actually on the team I Hate Social Media. They were resistant to social media. They even hopped on Twitter and Instagram and joined social media because it was the only way they could get work done and make connections for their business. Right? Yeah. Because they have a business too. So the whole business changed, and it's because of that, it's become even more important.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I liken it kind of to when actors are holding on to the black and white headshots.
I do too. Yes. We held on to those. Yes. To the last moment. How many jobs did you lose because you had those black and white headshots? Because you thought it was a fad.
Yes, we're in color now. And I think it's so interesting because I'm like, listening to you talk, I was just thinking, this is something that has not gone away. It is something that has not gone away. And if anything, it feels like the industry, the world has leaned into it a lot more. So when the casting director's office literally shut down, we were keeping up with them on Instagram or on Twitter. Those were the big ones. And, but we see a lot of casting directors doing reels right now. Yeah. And I'm like, well, listen, if everybody out there is doing this, why are we not at least going to the door and meeting them? And I feel like we're leaving parts on the table, but maybe people just don't know how to use it properly. So I guess the question would be is, how can actors really use social media to their advantage, Heidi?
Well, that's a big question.
It's a big question. Can you break it down? we got about 40 minutes.
All right. Well, the first thing they need to do, which I kind of just alluded to, is they got to clean up their first impression because people are looking you up. That's one of the biggest reasons. I think we get stuck on the follower conversation a lot for why social media is important. But in reality, you're probably getting looked up more because people are just trying to find out a little bit more about you or to find out about if you're a liability for the project that family-friendly project they're going to put you in. They're doing research, and social media is a big research tool, especially if you're up for any, brand ambassador, you do commercials, you go in for a lot of family-friendly projects or networks. They're going to look you up if your part is big enough. It's just going to happen. They don't want to do triage later, right? They don't want a PR disaster, right? So make sure your social media presence is cleaned up. Okay. Yeah. And it looks professional.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Because this is a little bit tricky, right? Because I know, because I'm one of your close friends, that you want everybody to have a voice, right? And be authentic, right? And so we're not saying in any way, stifle people, right? But what does that mean, especially in the climate that we're in? How do I clean that up and still stay true to myself, I guess?
Yes, and I should back up a little. When I say clean up, I just mean make sure you have a professional presence. So,
Okay.
do you have a profile photo that clearly shows us your essence, right? And your vibe. Same thing on platforms like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, if you use that, or YouTube. All of those have got that big header. The header, cover art, it's called something different everywhere. That's like a billboard for us to know more about who you are, what you do, and your vibe. Did you leave that big gray box up on Facebook or the blue box up on Twitter? Right? Or is it an ugly, like a beautiful field of flowers, but that doesn't tell me anything about you, right? Do you have a bio that tells me who you are, what you do, and what you stand for, right? Do you have a link that sends me somewhere else so I can find out something about, a casting profile, your website, so I can watch your reel or watch some kind of performance clips? Have you done a makeover so you're using it with a purpose instead of for playtime? So that's really what I'm talking about. But yes, I get hired a lot. I get clients direct from reps all the time. I worked with a client direct from Disney this year, and because they had to actually take down a lot of Instagram posts because they just the actor didn't realize the brand that they were representing, even though they signed a big contract where they needed to. That's all I can say on that one. But so you have to know that as an actor, you are working for brands. If you do commercials, you are working for networks. So you do need to, you need to know how to properly use your voice. I do a lot of audits on people's social media. And if I go to your Twitter and it is only politics and that's all I see, and you don't do political satire, that's not your thing, you're not a comedian, then you're not actually sharing who you are, because you are not politics, right? If all I see is stuff about presidents, like, that's not what your social media is for as an actor. Yes, you can talk about it, tweet about and post about what you're for instead of what you're against. You don't have to mute yourself, but I should still see who you are and not just what your political views are, right? Yeah. So I think that's where some actors get lost,
I like that a lot, because it does, it does let you be authentic still, but also stand behind yourself as an actor as well. So you're not like, oh, okay, I can't do this and I can't. You can do it all, but make sure it's like a clean, streamlined process for that. I put on there just the other day that my iWatch that Apple has is shaming me if I don't wash my hands for 20 seconds. Do you know what I mean? Because it gives you... I think it's good. It's a good mix of, me there talking about, what goes on in my life, and also when I'm talking about politics, and also when I'm talking about being on a show. So it's just a fluid, streamline, I guess, of all that stuff is what I hear you saying.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. And also, we're not going to dive into all of this because we don't have time. But, human rights is different than politics. I know they cross over, but that's a whole nother, I've done a lot of talks about that this year, that you should still have a voice, especially if the story you're telling is you still need to have a voice. Okay. And that's important.
Okay. So we got clean up our following, our social media. What else you got?
Yeah, so clean up the cover to that book, clean up your house. That's what I always say. I wouldn't have someone over if I didn't have furniture, and if I didn't clean the floor and wash the windows, and that's what some people are doing. They're trying to invite casting directors and trying to get followers, and they haven't even cleaned their house. It just doesn't work. No one's going to follow you. No one's going to want to work with you. Yeah. So number one, clean your house. Okay. Yes, number two, you got to figure out your posting strategy. Okay, so you've got to figure out how to tell your unique story online. And that's a huge topic in itself. So you got to figure out, how to tell the movie of you online, no matter what platform you're on. Then you got to figure out your networking strategy. So, who do you want to know in the business if you're going to use it for networking, which you should. I don't like the word should, but why not? If you're using it, that's where, all the gold is. So, who do you want to know, but also who do you already know? So we can set up systems in place. On Twitter, we can use lists. On Instagram, I use saved post collections. There's all different ways for us to organize our contacts so that we can stay top of mind, or so we can get on people's radar and start, building these relationships. So you need to have your strategy in place for that. And then follower growth strategy. So how do I grow an audience on this platform? Because really, yes, they do look at, follower size sometimes, but also think about why an audience is important to an actor and an artist. I mean, I don't know an actor and artist who doesn't know that an audience is important. At some point, you might have to crowdfund. At some point, musical theater, you might have a show at 54 Below in New York City. You might do an album. You're going to have something where you need an audience. And if you're doing that a little bit every day, you're going to have this audience that cares about you and cares about the things that are important to you. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important with growing your following beyond the castability factor. So really those are like the 4 pillars that I teach is like, let's clean up, let's get your posting strategy, your networking strategy, and then your audience growth strategy.
Yeah. I saw a video you did not too long ago, and anybody, you can look this video up on YouTube. I'm going to botch it. I'm a horrible host because I'm going to botch the video, but you were interviewing a young lady who went from like 70 followers to like 7. I don't know, like what's the number, but it was crazy.
I'm checking right now. I'm checking because it was
checking real time.
It was like 600,000 the other day. So,
my God.
it's so exciting because 73 followers. She watched my live, and I said, just post. Like she had all these drafts, and she did. She duetted me on TikTok that day and said, I'm gonna listen to Heidi, and I'm just gonna post my drafts. 2 videos later, that video went viral, took off, and then 669,000 followers on TikTok.
From 73.
From 73 since January. So we're talking 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is in that video, she talked about how she was contacted. She's, near London. She was contacted by this really awesome summer program for acting that she, never thought she would be able to do. And so not only because she has this audience, she did a crowdfunder. It's paid for. Like, it's done.
Oh my gosh. I think that, sometimes we complicate, and I am so guilty of this, guilty of complicating social media. But I think really when I found my stride was when I did a version of the 4 pillars, like you're saying, right? And I got a little bit of direct access to you. But one of the things that you said to me that really clicked was like, this is prime real estate, DaJuan. Like when I go to your pages across all of them, the prime real estate is as soon as I, click on the Twitter, your profile, what do you want it to say? And I was like, prime real estate. Well, I don't want it to say nothing. You know what I mean? So I just started like really auditing all of it. And I think it really started to click. And for the, people listening to the actor, if you're listening to this, one of the things that also clicked was, I think it's important, but don't make it so precious. Is what I also got from you, Heidi, right? Like it's important. We don't want to like just say anything, but also we don't have to like really go through mental gymnastics over a tweet, And so, what is that?
I was trying to find, this is the Just Posted jar, and you're getting it. Actually, there probably will be a reel about it by the time, I don't know when this is coming out.
Yeah.
So actors obsess. I mean, most people obsess over their post, right? And they have posting paralysis is what I call it. You're stuck staring at that tweet for an hour or that Instagram post, and a lot of times you never end up posting it because you're just being a perfectionist about it. When really you just need to post the dang thing, right?
Yeah.
Learn the basics of how to post and then post the dang thing. So I started this thing called the Just Posted jar, which I got. You can probably hear my voice. I was sick, just like DaJuan, recently. So I posted a little less the last week or so because I couldn't shoot any video. But every time I post, I put $1 in the jar. Oh. It doesn't matter. Like minute I hit post, it doesn't matter if it gets 5 likes or it goes viral. I put $1 in there. Right. And end of the month, I'm going out to lunch at a nice place and just posted. I guess we're on a podcast, so no one can see it, but it's a jar.
It's on YouTube. If you're watching, this is on YouTube too. Go to YouTube, check this out.
It's a large mason jar that I put dollars in. And for you, whatever works for your budget. Maybe it's a quarter, maybe it's a penny, maybe it's $10,
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, treat yourself because really the biggest thing is showing up and putting it out there. Yes, we can learn how to create better posts, but some of that is beyond our control. So just post the dang thing, reward yourself, and let it go,
As the mindset guy, I really thought that was as the mindset guy, I thought that was going to go a different way, but I'm so happy it went to reward yourself. I thought it was going to go a little bit more like, if you don't post, put $1 in it. Because if I had $1 for every time I stopped a tweet or stopped the Instagram, like that's what I thought that jar was going to go. But I love that you're rewarding positive behavior, if you will, and that just, it went a totally different way, Heidi. Than I thought.
Well, you know me, I'm definitely Miss Positive, so that's just me. I don't even know if I would have thought the other way.
Oh, no. I think it's great. All right, so I love that, and I really think that actors can, and you've talked about this before, about keeping in touch with casting directors and managers, up on social media. I guess I wonder right now, as we are in this post-pandemic, if we can even say that really right now, we're in the afterwards of the pandemic. I made a joke the other day, a dad joke the other day, where it was before pandemic and after pandemic, like that's our life now. But after pandemic, where nobody is in their offices anymore, they're slowly getting back. I guess my question to you is, how can actors really keep in touch on this while remembering their social media etiquette?
Good question. Well, I mean, the good thing is with pandemic is that we're able to meet them where they're at. I mean, postcards right now, not really a great strategy. I heard someone teaching that the other day. I was like, a lot of people aren't in their offices, so you're wasting.
Where are you sending those?
You're wasting some trees sending those postcards off, right? So, so social media allows us to meet them where they're at, and for most people, what's on them all the time? Their phone. Yeah. Right? So you're able to meet them, whether they're at home or their office, through social media. And etiquette is everything. It really, really is everything for seeing results. Social media can be the best networking tool if you know how to use it correctly. You've got to be specific. You've got to be strategic to really see results, right? So this is a huge topic as well. But
what do you think about etiquette? What do you think about etiquette? I mean, because I think that the way I operate is, I'm not going to walk up to a casting director in person and I'm going to say, give me a job. I'm an actor. That's my actor voice. If anybody didn't know that, it's like, give me a job. No, but so I operate. I'm not going to do that on social media, right? Like on my first meeting. That's what I mean by etiquette. Is that like kind of your definition of that as well?
Yes. And that's the biggest mistake I see actors making, is that they're treating their online world totally different than their offline world. That's like walking to someone going up to someone on the street you never met and saying, hi, nice to meet you. Can you do me a favor? That just doesn't fly, right? No. So you have to treat your online marketing just like your offline marketing. And when you're especially reaching out to people you don't know, you've got to know a few things. You've got to know the who, you've got to know the where, and you've got to know the how. So you got to know who you're reaching out to. You got to know where to connect with them on social media, because let's face it, not all platforms are created equal when it comes to networking. There are some platforms that are built around shared interest. We call these interest-based platforms. These are Twitter. This is Instagram. This is Pinterest, right? And then there's other platforms that are based around something called the graph search. That's Facebook profiles, LinkedIn. We friend or connect with people we know, or friends of friends we know, right? So you have to know where it's appropriate to connect with someone you don't know. And then step number 3 is really how to connect, which is what we're saying. And this is where social etiquette is everything. In the business world, the marketing space for businesses, there's what's called push marketing and pull marketing. And the difference between the two lies in how customers are approached. And in this case, customers as an actor would be people who can hire you, people who can connect you to someone that can hire you, right? So casting directors, producers, fellow actors, right? Those are your customers, or buyers, as some people call them, I guess. Now, in push marketing, the idea is to promote products by pushing them onto people. Right? And this is what so many actors do on social media. So when you're direct messaging, or you're tweeting, or sending messages or comments to casting or anyone, trying to get them to see your stuff and do something for you. That is push marketing. It's a super direct approach that rarely works on social media if I don't know you, unless you have a little verified check mark next to your name, or you do it so creatively that other people are sharing it and, and retweeting it, right? So that's push marketing, okay? Pull marketing, on the other hand, is when you're drawing us in. Over time, right? Over time, you're engaging with us. You are getting on their radar by engaging with someone in a real human way, right? You're pulling them in. And over time, they're going to get curious and click over and find out more about you. It is just human nature. I mean, just think how many times that you've clicked over to find out about somebody because they left a thoughtful comment, or they've left a lot of thoughtful comments. They've been, in your conversations, and you're like, who is this person? And now all of a sudden I know their name. I'm watching their reel. I'm on their YouTube channel. I'm on their website, right? Yeah. So that's pull marketing. It's the total opposite. It really involves, motivating your customers to seek out your brand in an active process. It's getting the customer to come to you. And that is where you see results on social media. If your initial approach is all about you, it pushes us away. If you make it about them, it pulls us in.
I love that. And I think I've always just sent people from Think Bigger your way, because I'm like, there's somebody who has his own genius about this. But, when I am coaching very minimally on social media, I'll tell my actors, they're like, organically reach out to casting directors. And they're like, well, how do I organically do that? One of the ways that I think of is the notification buttons, right? We tell them, like, pick 5 people on between Twitter and Instagram. Don't have like 5 going on each, because your phone will just be blowing up. And like, so somebody reaches out, somebody tweets, like, Sandy Logan says something about Dynasty, and then you can choose if you want to interact with that tweet or not. Or you can wait till she says something about football, or, whatever. And then you can organically reach out, because there's a notification, instead of, having to scroll back and go back through. And the only reason I say the notification button, because that way you don't have to go to their page, and it literally comes to your phone. So you can decide that way. And that's just because I get lost in social media sometimes when I start scrolling. What do you think about that kind of method?
I think it works as long as you are fine, depending on your boundaries for social. Like, I don't have notifications turned on for anyone. Wow. It would be. Now I'm offended.
Down. You don't have my notifications.
No, I don't. But I always engage with your posts, so I always see them at the top of my feed. But but I don't. Not even my husband. Okay, I don't even have them on for him. And because I have very strict social media boundaries for when I sign on, when I sign off. So for me, I don't want my phone. Nobody is important enough for me to have my phone light up like that. I don't care who it is, Mm-hmm. But that's just my personal boundaries. For other people, that's not the case. What I do instead is I like to just get very organized on social media. So I have my Twitter list. I have my saved collections on Instagram with the people that I know and want to know. So I know it's Monday. I'm going to go in. I'm going to, check on my peeps over here in this list, and check on these people and check on these people, and then engage that way. So I do it in a very strategic, organized fashion on my own terms. Yeah. But that's just because I have very clear boundaries, and I'm an introvert too. So I do better with boundaries, with notifications. So.
Well, I'm the mindset coach, everybody, again. So I work well with mindset that way. I'm not a social media strategist. So we said that early on. I'm gonna go down this road with you. And I'm trying to run the clock out, everybody, before we get to like Instagram Reels, because they really just I know Heidi wants to talk about Instagram Reels, and they have just been, but I'm going to ask a question before we get to Instagram Reels about the verified checkmark you just talked about. It was gone for so long, and, on Twitter, right? To get onto Twitter, there wasn't a way to get on. And I know you've done videos about this recently about it's back, and so I guess my question is where did it go? 1, and 2, how do you get it? Can I just be cute like myself and they get one, or?
You should be able to get it. But
I already have them.
Yeah, I thought you had it. I knew you had it on Instagram, but
Both.
no, you can't just be cute. And I think that's what a lot of people think. It's been gone for 3 years, and it's finally back. It was actually supposed to be back in January. In fact, if you see that video that I just shot in June, it was actually shot in January because I was all ready for that January 20th to get my video out there.
Yeah.
And then they delayed it again till about, I think it was June 20th. And so yes, but what's really great about the new verification process is they're literally spelling it out for you. So I have a video on my channel, how to get verified on Twitter, and I'm walking you through their very detailed qualifications for actors, like how many IMDb credits you need, or if you don't have those, if you don't have the 50 required credits, then what kind of news publications, what news outlets have you been in recently? I'm walking through step by step because of course they're breaking it down for everybody. But I'm diving into, as an actor, as an artist, this is what Twitter's saying you need to have. And so yeah, it's actually a very, very informative video, and I tell you exactly where you can do it. We can do it in the app now, which in the past, before you had to go on the help page of Twitter, it was totally separate. Now you can do it right in your app. And and I actually have a lot of clients that are finding success, and a lot of people that just aren't really ready yet and aren't, but that's okay. It's not, DaJuan has them all, and that's awesome, but it's not everything. I mean, I'm not verified anywhere. I don't use my my married name, so it's very hard for me to get verified with ID, and I'm a business, so it's not everything. If I'm able to build what I have and to help a lot of people and to grow, then the check mark's not everything. So focus on your strategy, and if you do have a lot of press, if you do book something that's a little more higher profile and you get into some bigger publications, that's the time to try to get verified, because whether it's by yourself in the Instagram app or the Twitter app, a lot of what they're measuring is traffic. So how many people are going to your Instagram? How many people are Googling you? Are you notable? Because that's why the checkmark exists in the first place, is really so we know that this is the real DaJuan Johnson,
right,
not, DaJuan Johnson over here pretending to be DaJuan Johnson who's going to scam us, right? Yep. It's that's really why it exists, because there's a lot of scammers out there that are pretending to be people that we see on TV or music artists. So, so if you are doing something notable, that is the time to apply within the app.
That's how I got mine, by the way. I know we were joking, and I got one on Instagram and Twitter, but my publicist got it for us, and they did all of that stuff when we were like in season 2 or 3 of Bosch. And when you're interacting with fans, it's really kind of a good little authentication that's like, okay, this person really is, Pierce or whoever. It was one of those things that they were like, let's get you verified. And I was like, cool, let's get verified on it. I don't feel anything less if you do or do not get it. I think I see people with way more followers than I have that that are not verified, and so it's nothing like that. It was just something they helped us do.
Yeah, and if you're on a project, that's the best thing to do, is talk to PR, see if you can get verified. If you're a recognizable enough character or enough role, then it's quite possible they want the fans to know that it is in fact you. So,
I agree with that. Well, Heidi, it looks like we're out of time already. So, guys, thank you so much, Heidi. I have been struggling, you all, because Instagram Reels is something that I have, I see the value, and I see the value in my business, and it's done great for Think Bigger coaching. But as an actor, I'm struggling with it, and I just want to see if you can shed some light for me or anybody else out there that's struggling with Reels, and how can this really help actors?
Yeah. Well, I want to step back for a second, because there may be some people that hear us talking about Reels and they still don't know what it is, and it's true.
Think it's Reels. Think it's like
they think it's a place to put your reel, which it's really not.
Circle back.
I'm gonna hold back on all the reel puns today, but yes, it's really not the place to put your reel. So Instagram Reels, a direct ripoff from TikTok, if you don't know that by now. So think short form, vertical video content, right? Your reel is like this, right? And yes, you can reformat it. It's not the best place to put your reel. That's called IGTV, okay? So it's short form vertical content, mainly under 30 seconds. They are rolling out 60-second reels. I think people have it in Australia. I don't have it yet. But if you're brand new to reels, don't think 60 seconds. Think actually like, how do I entertain people in 15 seconds, 30 seconds? Don't rush to 60 seconds. So for the most part, it's short form vertical content, 30 seconds or less. And the content's really meant to entertain, to inspire, to educate. It's not that different than anywhere else. It's just video. Okay. All of your social media content should entertain, inspire, or educate, no matter where it is. And the important thing to know is if you've been resistant to them, you don't have to dance on reels. You don't have to be funny. You don't have to point at things like I do. And they don't have to be complicated.
Can I roller skate like you do? Can I like roller?
I don't even know if you commented on my roller skating reels. My reels on wheels, as I call them.
I love it. They're so great. Go ahead.
Everyone's loving them, so I'm clearly gonna make more, and I'm gonna find a better place, not the parking lot that I did them in, which I almost killed myself because it was just go back and watch it and look at the ground. It's actually very dangerous where I was. But there were no cars. So you don't have to rollerblade either, okay? Unless you want to. So just think about it. It's 30 seconds of video content. That could be anything. That could be behind the scenes of DaJuan taking us behind the scenes on Bosch, if he's allowed to, right? Or in his next project, right? It could be you just talking to camera, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, like what you might do on stories. Okay. It could be a dance or a trend if you want to, but it doesn't have to be dancing and all of that. And I think that's where people get like stuck, right? And there are so many benefits for actors. I mean, number one, the technical benefit that they're pushing them out. Still almost a year later, we're almost at the year anniversary of when they released them in the US. It was around my daughter's birthday, so around August 6th. So I know because we were camping and they dropped the ball and I was like, okay, now I got to go home for a couple hours from the camping trip to film a video. Thanks, Instagram. So they're still pushing them out about a year later. So you're if one of your goals is to grow your account and get more eyeballs on your account and you're not using reels, then you're not using Instagram effectively to reach those goals. Number one. So from a technical standpoint, big benefits for actors, TikTok, reels, the new YouTube Shorts. If you knew about YouTube Shorts, they were just released worldwide this week. They've been 1 month on YouTube for everybody, 1 or 2 months. Same thing as Reels, same thing as TikTok. So we're now being given this virtual stage on all of these platforms to share your talents, to share your point of view, to share your sense of humor, to share your special skills as an actor. And it's really less pressure than creating a full-blown YouTube channel. It's less time and less pressure. I can attest to that. I have a YouTube channel.
Me too.
I spend this much time on my reels and this much time on a YouTube video, right? Yeah. And it's not going away. TikTok is the fastest growing platform ever. And that is why every platform has copied something from TikTok, right? Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat has a feed feature. Thank goodness Twitter hasn't tried to copy anything yet.
Oh man, we've already seen how fleet that went.
Fleets have been, yes.
Yes.
So there's so many benefits. And I can give you a couple ideas so anyone, listening and watching can kind of take them and go, okay, that's how I can use them. One thing, special skills. It's a great way to showcase. Do you do stunts, gymnastics, martial arts, accents? You can use reels to showcase them, just like you would have in a regular video. I'll give you a couple of examples. Anything physical, there's all different speed controls. So you can like slow down your martial arts or speed them up and do a repetitive video of them. Awesome. I've seen so many actors, performers, stunt performers do this, right? And you're literally showing us something that could get you cast. It brings me back to when I remember when Tom Holland was being considered for Spider-Man, like way
Yeah.
back in the day. And he was doing all those cool stunts on his
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and he was just doing regular video. He would totally be using Reels now
Yeah.
to do those, because he could build those effects, right? Do them right in Reels, right? Accents. I saw an actor the other day point out a sentence, a really short sentence, and then they said that sentence in 5 different ways, like different accents. And it was so great. And they were really good too. And so every time they switched it, it would say what accent it was, right? Total fun way to share your talents, right?
Wow.
You know, and you don't have to dance, but there are a lot of performers that is a special skill of theirs. We see, you know, Brett Shuford and Stephen Hanna doing their dancing all the time. And if you're a musical theater artist or a dancer in any way, then hop on some dance trends, or just create some dances that we can remix or duet, you know, and grow that way. You can use someone else's audio and do your own take. You can do, I have some clients that are doing their own sketch now. So instead of doing it on YouTube, they're playing 2 characters. So the magical thing about TikTok Reels and Shorts is we've got that magic record button where you can hit it once and be a character this way, and then change a hat, change your clothes, and be another character this way, and actually build a 30-second scene, whether it's from your favorite movie that, you know, is your casting sweet spot, or maybe something you wrote yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you can do sketch. Sammy Meyerson does a really good job of this on TikTok and on Reels. And then you can also like remix someone else's reel. Remix is the same thing as duetting on TikTok. It means that you see somebody else's video and you maybe get to sing with Andrew Lloyd Webber at the top. That was like going viral all over TikTok. That Andrew Lloyd Webber was sitting there playing from Phantom of the Opera, and you could sing with him. You would just hit duet, and you were singing with Andrew Lloyd Webber. And guess who got a notification with this too? Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Wow.
So it's not just a way to share it with the world, but also a way to network. So remixing, duetting, you could do scenes with people. You can sing with people. I mean, it's just, I could keep going. It just, you've been handed this amazing tool to share your talents, and it doesn't feel like promotional at all. You know, whether you're an actor or a business. I mean, some of my best reels are actually when I was like promoting a class. I mean, I know you love that one where I had the eraser.
So good.
I've had people literally tell me, you could sell to me any day of the week with your reels, because I'm able to do them in a fun way. I'm able to make you laugh, but also tell you I have a sale, right? It's like push marketing, pull marketing all at the same time, right?
I love that. I think it was, and I hope I'm not confusing it, but is it a reel that you did when there's popcorn popping and you say something to the effect of, actors were all different, or your timing? I might be getting this wrong, but I think I mean, it's so good.
It's the one I'm most proud of, actually. Yeah, I put that out right when Reels came out. It first was on TikTok, and it's still like the Rocky theme song too. So I mean, you can use them to inspire. You can use them to teach, to do behind the scenes. There's just so many different ways, and I'm loving them. And what's funny is I'm someone who never actually considered myself like a creator when I was an actor. Like, it's always like, okay, give me a script, give me a scene, give me a song. I got it. I got this. But I never really thought like, oh, I'm somebody who would be creating my own content. And I know that's where some people get stuck. Well, if you've seen my reels, I lean into the more creative than the trends, just because I have more. It's just, I get to use different parts of my brain and my being. And so use it for that. I mean, it's a really great creative outlet to show us what you do, you know.
I'm just gonna spitball here. I came up right in the moment when you were talking. I was listening and I was like, why don't I do a reel for Think Bigger about how fast you can set up your self-tape setup, and then have people duet me and see if they can set it up in the same amount of time. I don't know if that would be like how you do reels and duets, but I think it would be, right?
Yeah, exactly. The only thing with that is they'd have to do it in like obviously 30 seconds or less. So there may be maybe a smaller thing that you could have them do to have them remix.
Right. It's still working. It's still working. I'm still working.
Yeah, maybe something with like the slate or something. You know what I mean? Like something that is very, very quick that then they can remix. But yes, remixing, duets, great way to grow, because people are sharing your, video on their account. And obviously you're getting exposed to their audience.
So good. So good, so good, so good. Before I let you go, I want to really just say, you said a second ago that TikTok is the fastest growing platform out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just confused because I feel like Clubhouse has been really like wildfire growing. And I guess, is Clubhouse here to stay, you think? Or is it something that was a pandemic kind of platform like House Party? Right? Remember how House Party was so
Yeah.
big during the pandemic, and now nobody's on it, I don't think. But no offense to anybody who's on House Party. No.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it's here to stay?
Yeah.
Its growth has been amazing, and a lot of that was PR.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to have invites and you have to wait for something, it makes it bigger. And they were so smart about really inviting like some of the most influential people in the world,
Yeah.
in all different fields, to build buzz. I mean, it was a
Mm-hmm.
brilliant marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Is it here to stay? We have no idea. We thought Vine was here to stay. We thought Snapchat was
Oh,
going to be the next Instagram. It's still huge, but it did not surpass,
yeah.
Instagram by any means. So is Clubhouse here to stay? We'll see.
Well, a better
I
question then might be, sorry to interrupt, would be,
Yeah.
should we focus on it? Should we focus on, I guess would be a better question than if it's here to stay, because you don't have a crystal ball if it's here to
Yeah,
stay.
and I mean, and every platform is trying to develop something like Clubhouse. Facebook already has audio rooms that they're developing. The fact that Instagram is letting us go live with up to 4 people, they're trying to kind of have a Clubhouse experience, even though it's video. Twitter Spaces, I've actually had access to Twitter Spaces for a while, and I'm going to start using them. If you're big on Twitter, do you need to be over on Clubhouse, or should I be going live for my 30,000 followers on Twitter? And
Yeah.
Spaces, that's replacing Fleets. Right now, they were up there with Fleets, but that's where it's gonna live.
Okay.
And think about Twitter. It's an audio. I mean, it's a text-based app. If you need a Clubhouse anywhere, Twitter is the place to have it,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
we got to see where all of these go, because you will find some people that go, well, I'm already on this platform. Why do I need to be over on Clubhouse? So nobody has the crystal ball that knows how it's going to play out. But for actors, the good thing about Clubhouse is that I think it's the easiest platform where you can just like set up your presence, rock out your bio, make sure you have links to either Instagram or Twitter, whatever looks
Mhm.
good, remember. And then when you want to use it for networking or learning, or when you want to use it for growing your Instagram or your Twitter, you can. But it's not like Instagram or Twitter, those platforms where you kind of have to be present and posting and you have to be there all the
Mm.
time. So I think the pressure to be on Clubhouse is a lot less, especially for most actors who are not going to be hosting rooms. They're probably going to be taking part in rooms to be meeting people, because it's
Yeah.
fantastic for networking. So,
Still going strong. And I thought for sure, for me, it's like a huge, time suck because I can't pull myself away from it when I'm on it. But I see its benefit. I see its benefit.
yeah, well, you got to track your time on the app. That's a big thing. I actually have anyone listening that either doesn't know how to use Clubhouse or wants to know how to use it strategically. If you go to clubhouseforactors.com, that will
Mhm.
take you to my blog that has a tutorial and has a video that gives you 8 steps to strategically use it. And in that video, I show you, where in your phone that you can set limits for Clubhouse, so that you know
Ooh.
exactly how long you're there. Because I'd say it's actually the biggest time suck of all, because you've got that FOMO factor that, this room is not recorded and it's going away. But you
Yeah.
have to know there's always going to be another chat, another
Mm.
room, another day. You're not going to miss out. But really being aware, like going into your phone and setting those limits and saying, oh wow, I spent 40 hours on Clubhouse this week, and I
Whew.
still don't have my social media together, and I still don't, have my self taping set up. You
Yeah.
got to really go, what are my priorities?
Yeah.
And are the hours that I'm spending there, am I actually tracking results for my career?
Mm.
Because you can listen all day and you can watch YouTube videos all day, but are you actually getting results? And that's what I see with a lot of people with Clubhouse. There's this momentum of, I'm learning and I'm doing all this stuff, but are you actually doing, or are you just passively listening? So tracking your time on the app is really, really important, so you know where your priorities are.
I would also add there, because everybody knows how I feel about Clubhouse, but I would also add tracking your time on there and taking action. right?
Yes.
And make sure you're taking action, because we're getting this great information. But like you just said, are you doing anything with it? Or is it just a tool to feel good? So we are always on the same page, Heidi.
Yep.
Thank you so much for stopping by the Think Bigger Actors podcast. I've been trying to get you in for so long.
I know. I feel like I was supposed to be in season 1, and then it was,
Yes.
but that was 2020. And
That was 2020. Yeah.
I didn't even do a podcast with my bestie. That's how busy I was. I actually said no to every podcast because I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I couldn't go live or do anything. I'd have no voice.
Yeah. And I would just say, who starts a podcast during the pandemic? Me. Thanks so much.
When you got kids at home and
there's like a pandemic. Heidi, thank you so much. I appreciate you.